City Power is attending to a power outage in Fordsburg that's affecting most of the Joburg CBD and Selby. City Power says the outage occurred after a fire in the underground tunnels tripped two main lines. Let's bring you the latest now, an update from our reporter Barry Bateman, who's on the ground there. We see those black billowing smoke coming out of the manholes behind you there, Barry. What's the latest you can tell us?
Yeah, good afternoon, Dad. Well, it certainly looks quite dramatic. This black smoke coming out, not just one, but two manholes. But what I can tell you and what you don't see, about 50 meters from me here, right in front of the Johannesburg Magistrates Court, is another fire truck and a full team there. There's also a manhole there. And we've learned from the officials here that several firefighters have actually gone in there and crawled the 50 meters underground to this point. And I'm going to step aside and have my colleague Mtor show you. They're underground not far from here with hoses tackling this fire of what we understand is electrical cables. It started earlier this morning and the firefighters have been battling it for several hours. But just to give us some more details, the finer details of what we're actually dealing with here, I've got MMC Michael's son. MMC son, thanks for joining us out here today. Let's just start off on the beginning. What do we understand took place and has caused this fire?
Well, Barry, about 7 o'clock this morning, the City Power system received an alarm that there was a trip at the John Ware substation, which indicated that there was, a fault somewhere. Eventually, of course, we found there was fire underground. It's a long underground tunnel where the power cable is fed from John Ware all the way to Selby. So that is a problem, and of course there's a major outage in the area. It causes outage in the Selby, in the Fordsburg area, New Centre, Village Deep, and of course, as you can see, our firefighters are busy fighting the fire. About 15 minutes ago, they informed me that they have located the seat of the fire, but because of the intensity of the smoke underground, it is difficult for them to approach. But I think they have made some progress. It's obviously a very difficult fire to fight, but certainly that as soon as the fire has been extinguished and safe for the City Power technicians to go down underground, we'll be able to assess the damage and start with the restoration works.
You say they've managed to locate the source of the fire. Perhaps the next question could be containment. Any concerns that this fire might spread further down the tunnels, affect other areas of the city as this smoulders underground?
Well, I've spoken to the EMS colleagues. They've indicated that it seems like the fire is only at the one location. As you can see, the fire is coming out, the smoke is coming out from these two manholes. Further down that side, to the other end of the block, there was smoke, but it is not as intense. So we suspect that the fire is only at this location. So as soon as we're able to put it out, we'll be able to assess what damages. But we are very concerned because there's not only the electrical cables, but other cables such as your internet and other services. So this is something that we really need to get down as soon as it's safe to do so.
Large area affected. If everything goes well, assuming the fire is extinguished today, the guys are able to assess. How long does it ordinarily take to be able to lay a cable of this length in this area? So just give a rough idea of how long we're looking at before power restored.
Right. We've got a full team of City Power officials and technicians here. So they're already starting to formulate a plan of the worst case scenario. We're looking at maybe 2-3 days if it's something that we anticipate. But of course, if the damage is to a very deep extent, we'll obviously have to look at it and see how we're going to replace those damaged cables. But the good thing is that there is a backup plan. John Ware substation is not damaged, so we will probably have to reroute some of the cabling to ensure that we restore, even temporarily, power supply to the affected areas.
Thank you very much, MMC son. Well, Dan, there you have it. Possible work, if all goes well, 2 to 3 days, but contingency plans in place, rerouting the network from the substation to try and alleviate the burden and at least restore power to some of the areas. But that's not going to happen until the firefighters here manage to get a hold of this fire and extinguish it. Well, they're certainly hard at work, as we can see now.
And you don't have an idea yet how many firefighters are underground, Barry?
It is just a handful that are underground. You can imagine it's a very confined space. And if you look at that smoke, we were just discussing it now, you can probably not see, much. A short while ago, I must say about 10 minutes ago, there was actually steam coming out of this manhole behind me. And we could see the firefighters here talking to their colleagues who were actually underground. So they are certainly making work. It's only a handful of them underground. But if I just look around me at the number of vehicles here, there's probably about 24 firefighting officials that are here to support their colleagues those who are on the front of putting out this fire.
Okay, thank you very much, Barry Bateman. On the ground there in Fordsburg in Johannesburg, firefighters still busy trying to put out that fire underground there.